Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to another episode of the Paranormal Industrial Complex, where we analyze and dissect every sort of phenomenon in the trilateral corner between the real, the conspiracy, and the unreal. And today, my friends, we are going to go deep. We are going to go dark. We are going to go old. We are going to go bold. Yes, sir, we are talking about today that one and only UFO flap known as the Gulf Breeze incident. Now, apparently in the annals of ufology, this is a bit of a controversy, if you will, although it really should not be for reasons which will become apparent. Now, here's the thing. Let me set the stage for you. Let's hop in the Wayback Machine. Go back to the year 1987 in the month of November. Ed Walters, a contractor living in Gulf Breeze, Florida, stepped out onto his back porch and saw a light in the sky. Thus it begins. It's like so many other UFO stories, a light in the sky. Now he grabbed his trusty Polaroid camera and took a picture. And boom. Thus begun, the shock heard round the world. Well, it was on, actually not that night, but a couple nights later, he would go out onto a road, and for about maybe the third or fourth or fifth time in a row, would see one of these pictures and pow! Would take a photograph that would resound all throughout the world. That really was a shot heard around the world, my friends. And it is going to exist right here. Now take a close, long, hard look at that. Why is there a trailer in that lawn? I don't know. Take a good hard look at that, and you're going to see something interesting. Now, maybe this is proof positive for you of alien life, and maybe it's not. But when I heard it, I had alarm bells ringing in my head. Nevertheless, Ed went on to document several other sightings in his area. Night after night, he would go out and see 1, 2, 3, 4, or even more craft in the night sky, and he would photograph them time and again. And they were published in the Gulf Breeze Sentinel. And this story was picked up by national news services, national newspapers, and all these national news shows like Current Affair and what was the other, Unsolved Mysteries, blah blah blah. And they sent all their reporters out there, and Ed told his crazy tale of little green men and well, maybe not little green men, but ships that could possibly hold the little green men. But for some people like me, things were not holding true. Now, here's the problem. Let me continue on with the story. So, the story continued on for quite some time, with Ed having, seeing, ship after ship, light after light, night after night, blah, blah, blah. And he kept on taking pictures and publishing pictures and talking to news people, blah, blah, blah. Other people started seeing lights in the sky too. Over the course of several months, they had 135 sightings of lights in the sky similar to what Ed Walters described. Now, a lot of people at this point in time would probably say, hey, hang on there, that sounds like a flap, that sounds like a situation, that sounds like a UFO incident. And maybe it was. But maybe it wasn't. Here's what happened. Unfortunately, maybe either despite of or maybe because of all the newfound interest, Ed decided to move, okay? And so he picks up all his stuff and moves his house, goes somewhere else, moves to another house. New owner comes in the house, poking around the attic, and he finds this. It's a model, and frankly not a very good one, of the UFO. The UFO. The UFO that was in Ed Walters' pictures. Huh. Coincidence. Ed's reaction. Okay. Another translation. Oh, that was put there by one of my many detractors to discredit me. Uh-huh. Well, that's rather convenient. And then, not too long later, Ed comes out and says he sees more UFOs. Oh my God! Oh, but this, he says, well, they don't involve a model. Oh, wow. That's helpful. Let's see. Should we go for a little detour? Let's go for a little detour. Okay, anyway, so Ed decides he's going to get the national media involved. So more media people come down and they talk to him some more and blah, blah, blah. I mean, at this point, I don't know what to say at this point. I mean, my God. You already have been caught, red-handed with a fake freaking model, and now you just won't stop. Now you got another tale of freaking space aliens. Ed, I don't believe you. I'm sorry. I don't believe you. So now here's the problem, and then it sort of disintegrates from there. Ed sort of at that point, when he publishes a video, he publishes a book. I read the book. Okay, I read the book. In the book, Ed talks on and on and on and on about how he would go out night after night and see these freaking things, and he saw them over the water and saw them by his house, and he took pictures, and he had this weird stuff, and he had this paralyzing ray that came down and paralyzed him, and maybe picked him up off the ground, and blah 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 blah, gave him telepathic thoughts, blah blah blah. It's nonsense. Okay. Oh, sorry, I should say it's unproven. Oh, kitty cat. His claims are unproven. Hi, kitty. Oh, cute cat. But anyway, I digress. So, hang on there, buddy. What's happening, dude? Anyway, so after that, so he sort of fades into obscurity. Okay. I mean, once you get caught faking something, you kind of fade into obscurity, and nobody takes what you say seriously anymore. Either that claim or really any other claim ever, because you're full of nonsense at that point. So, lo and behold. So, where do we come in? All right, so let's take a look at this, and let's rewind a little bit. Let's take a look at my reaction. Now, I first heard about this when I was kind of a youngster. I was around when this Gulf Breeze thing came out, and I remember seeing those first photographs. Bing. And I'll tell you, I was a lot less skeptical then than I am now. And even then, at my young age, I was like, bingo, double exposure. That was the phrase which came into my mind, folks. Double exposure. What's a double exposure, you may ask? Now remember, this was 1987. We did not have digital cameras back then. We only had film cameras, chemical film. Double exposure is something that happens when you take a picture and you don't advance the frame. And then you take another picture. So fast forward a few years, I see the Gulf Breeze photograph, bing, and of this flying lampshade or whatever it is on this desolate road, and I think one thing, bing, double exposure. And so I say to myself, as soon as I see it, I look at it and go, damn, it looks like a freaking lampshade, and it's got this light coming out the bottom of it, like a freaking light, like a freaking lamp, right? I mean, it looks like this fool has just turned on a lamp, and boom, taken two pictures without advancing the frame. It's just a double freaking exposure. And what's the hallmark of the double exposure? When both objects are translucent, and you look at that freaking photograph, and hey, guess what? Both objects are translucent. It's a double exposure. It's a load of nonsense is what it is. Anyway, I think, and so, I mean, I actually went on to read that book after coming to the conclusion that it was a double exposure, and it just like blew my mind, as to how much people could just stick to their own freaking lies. It never ceases to amaze me. Somebody could lie, get caught in a lie, and then keep on lying. It just sort of exasperated me. Now now I have a different reaction. Now it kind of ticks me off. It really kind of cheeses me off, and I'll tell you why. Because I've been in the paranormal industrial complex for decades now. Decades, my friends. I've chased down a lot of nonsense. I've listened to a lot of nonsense. I've seen a lot of nonsense. I've seen a lot of strange stuff, but I've seen a lot of nonsense too. And the strange stuff is worth investigating, but the nonsense is not. And I tell you, when I see nonsense, well, I'll take it back a notch. 99% of the PIC, the Paranormal Industrial Complex, is either, I'll say no, 98% is easily explainable through terrestrial means. 1% is nonsense, and 1% is unknown. Yeah, we're losing daylight. Now the problem I have is that 1%, i.e. those things that are truly inexplicable, that's plenty, okay? There are plenty of things in this world that are unexplained, okay? You don't need to make stuff up. We already have enough. We already have enough stuff that's unexplained. We don't need you making up nonsense and, you know, sullying the pot, okay? That's like wholly and completely and totally unnecessary. Okay, all it does is degrade, you know, the purity and the beauty and the magnificence and the splendor of those things which are truly unexplained or not yet explainable with current, you know, abilities. Okay, and I think resources should be spent on those things, on, you know, advancing our abilities to explain stuff. We don't need these people making up crap. It's nonsense. It irritates me. It's irritating. It cheapens the experience that is the beauty and the wonder of the paranormal industrial complex. Irritates me, people. Don't do it, Ed. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, come on, bro. Alright, here we go. Rocking and rolling. So, anyway, folks, some people say I shouldn't get irritated, but you know what? I can't help it. It irritates me. Alright, so anyway, folks, that is the story for today. And now you know all about the infamous Gulf Breeze hoax. How about Gulf Breeze hoax of 1987? There should be no controversy about this. It's a hoax. Ed Walters hoaxed it all. It is a sham. And I don't mind debunking things which are hoaxes, okay? I'll come back to that and talk about that later. But look, folks, that is the story for today. Now you're all experts on the 1987 Gulf Breeze hoax. So as we travel down these roads, just remember to be true to yourself and be true to the paranormal industrial complex, because it will always be true to you. Alright, folks, this is Dallas Deluxe. I am signing off into the ether and into the business end of the paranormal industrial complex. Good night.